Okay, mic test, mic test. We're on live. Just stand by. Good morning, good morning, and good morning po. Stay safe. Yan, sabi ni Mark Aldous Conde. Ilang Ayan, good morning po. Good morning sa inyong lahat. Stay safe dahil may malakas na bagyo. Ayan. So, good morning kay Mark Aldous Conde. Ayan, good morning po. Good morning. Kay Ariel Santos, good morning. Si Jackboy Boyo, good morning. Si Ranmark Batonghinog ng NPCST, good morning. Si Jet Christian Paz, good morning. Also, shout out din sa kay Chen Payas. Ayan, so buksan ko lang itong ano po. Let's start. Kay also Kenneth Parianes, good morning. Kay Sir Unil Dungo, good morning po sir sa mga taga NPCST ng IT department. Julius Chua, good morning. Rainy morning, tama. Oo. Si Jedia Cadmiel Oliveros. So shout out din. Ito po, shout out din po sa family ng ating guest speaker, si Ma'am May Isip, his daughter Daphne Isip, his son Andre Isip. Good morning po sa inyo dyan sa Canada. Good evening actually, oo. Morning sa atin and evening sa kanila. Again, shout out po sa family ng ating subject matter expert na si Sir Alejandro Isip, ang misis po niya na si Ma'am May Isip, his daughter Daphne Isip, at his son Andre Isip. Good evening po sa inyo dyan sa Canada. Ayan, right now, kababagong pasok lang po ng balita. Signal number 4 na daw po sa Manila. Ayan, signal number 4 na tayo, no? Ingat po tayong lahat. Oo, wag na nga alis, wag na lalabas. Sa bahay lang. Baka ma-stranded. Ayan, also, yan. Kay Carla Briones, good morning. Si Jack Mamboyo or Giancarlo O. Mamboyo ng 4C Laguna State Polytechnic University. Yan, shout out. Good morning sa inyong lahat. Chen Payas or Gilcent Vivas Payas ng BSIT 4C from LSPU LB. Yan po. Si Noj Martinez, good morning from UMAC po yan. And si Perjaline Montajes. And good morning po sa inyo lahat. Stay lang tayo sa bahay at magwe-webinar tayo. Keep safe. Huwag nang lalabas after ng webinar natin. Mas safe tayo sa bahay. Okay. So magbati muna tayo, mag-shoutout muna while we are waiting for a few minutes for others to join us here. Ayan. Si Parjelin A. Montajes, BSIT 43, Cavite State University, Indang. Yan, mga taga-Indang. Ito po. Thank you po sa mga followers, subscribers ko na taga Cavite. Ano po? State University, Indang, may main pa yata, CSU main. Ito po, shout out din kay Christine Reniel CTR. Okay, ng LSPU LB4C. Si Randy Villena, good morning. Mark, good morning. Ayan. Again, shout out po sa family ng ating guest speaker sa subject matter expert natin, yung family po niya. Shout out po kay Ma'am May Isip, his daughter Daphne, his son Andre Isip. Shout out po sa family Isip from Canada po. Also sa ating guest speaker na si Sir Alejandro Isip. Ayan po, shout out. Ayan, napakagaling na speaker po natin yan. Just stand by and we will start soon. Okay, shout out ulit dito kina Aubrey Tolentino, good morning. BSCPE from Cavite State University, Carmona Campus. Wow, ang dami palang branches ng Cavite State University. Okay, Randy Villena, BSIT 4A, Cavite State University, Silang. Jaja Gualberto, good morning. Pergeline Montajes, Indang po. Ang main. Okay. So, Indang daw ang main ng CSU, Cavite State University. Yun, sabi po ni Pergeline Montajes. Good morning sa lahat. And also kay Saila Tolog, yan, ng NPCST. Lawrence Hope Gubalani, Pergeline Montajes, Nicole Ray Balana. Yan, good morning daw sa lahat. Leah May Pejoro, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Okay, another series ng ating webinar ngayon, the continuation of the part 1. Since hindi natin na-meet yung topic na supposedly i-cover nung nakaraang part 1, kaya napaka-generous ng ating subject matter expert to give his time today to continue to finish yung na pending na topic. Yan. Tutok lang po at napakaganda po nito. Ado.net, Dapper Entity Framework. Yan. Konting idea lang po ang alam ko dito, kaya sama-sama po tayong matuto, mag-program, and later on makagawa ng sarili nating mga systems, applications, and also sa website, Okay. So I think we're going to start within 5 minutes. And I hope banggitin nyo po kung may audio problem pa tayo, kung anong na-experience nyo, so that we could broadcast, deliver our webinar clear and clear na delivery ng ating webinar. Okay, Kyle David Navarro, good morning, sir, from Tunet Adao. Ayan, si Kyle David Navarro from UMAC po. Ayan. So, ipaalam ko lang po na ang napakadami na din na mga followers natin, subscribers natin from different schools. Ito po, ang una po nating ano natin dyan ay taga NPCST sa Caloocan po yan, National Polytechnic College of Science and Technology of Caloocan. Wait. Ayan. Okay, so shout out muna ulit tayo. City Janine Mamayo. Ayan, good morning daw. From UMAC po yan si City Janine Mamayo. Danica Tongo, good morning daw from UMAC. Also si Mona Rementilio, good morning sir, from UMAC pa rin po. Ayan. So just place your names so that we could mention your names and may shout out ko kayo dito sa ating live webinar. Thank you so much po sa inyong lahat sa different schools. NPCST, Cavite State University, UMAC. Mayroon pa po tayong mga STI, may TIP pa rin tayo, may Lasal na nag-register. Actually, let me check from the registrations. Ayan po, maraming mga different schools na nakakakilala at nakakaalam na rin po sa binobroadcast ng Eager Learning. Ayan po. Broadcasting free knowledge from Eager Learning. And syempre, yung inyong free e-certificate once you have submitted your output. Ayan. Okay, let me check again. Ayan, may Bulacan Agricultural State College pa tayong nag-register. Taga Bulacan Agricultural State College. Dati may taga ano pa eh, no? Mga Visayas part. LSPU, ayan, or Laguna State Polytechnic University, yan. Yung mga registered attendees tayo from LSPU or Laguna State Polytechnic University. Ayan. Okay, karamihan po mga 4th year students, 3rd year students kasi alam ko kailangan nila yung mga webinar ngayon. Requirement po sa kanila na maka-attend ng mga different webinars that will enhance their knowledge and skills. Okay, kasi wala po tayo ngayong mga on-site na webinar, mga workshop kasi mahirap pumunta sa on-site, no? Sa bahay na lang, matututo pa rin kayo. Ayan, so I'm just checking again the schools, yung ating mga followers. Mayroon din po tayong San Beda Alabang, College Alabang. Opo, tama po. Ito rin po ang masugid nating mga followers from San Beda College Alabang, headed by our friend Aristotle F. Musni. Siya po yung nagpaalam na Eager Learning sa mga taga San Beda. Okay, shout out po ulit sa NPCST, sa ating kaibigan na si Sir J. Zacarias. Dean po siya ng NPCST, ng IT Department, and si Sir Unil Dongo ng NPCST, faculty po ng IT ng NPCST. Good morning po sa inyo and shout out sa lahat ng mga attendees ng taga NPCST. Also sa lahat ng mga taga San Beda College Alabang, shout out sa inyong lahat. Also may professor din po ng San Beda na nakaregister, si Ma'am Leia Martinez. Ma'am Leia, if you're here, good morning po sa inyo. Ma'am Leia Martinez, shout out din sa inyo. Ayan. Okay. May Ramon Magsaysay Memorial College pa rin po tayo, no? Na nag-register. Shout out sa mga taga Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Colleges. Ayan. Professor yata to si Fidel Petalio Magbanwa. Ayan po, from Ramon Magsaysay Memorial College. Also, from Region 4, Mindoro State College of Agriculture. Yan. Nakakaabot na din po tayo sa Mindoro State College. Yan. May nag-register po. Yan. Also, sa Quezon City University. Yan po yung mga registered attendees natin. Shout out sa mga taga Quezon City University, taga Mindoro State College of Agriculture, Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Colleges, STI College, Fairview, ayan. Bulacan, marami pong branches ang STI. Ayan, so I think we are now going to start. Ayan po. Let me show the screen. Ayan po. Muli, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Good morning, good morning. Umpisa na po natin para hindi mabitin sa time ang ating speaker. Okay, I'm just checking if may konting delay yung pag-broadcast natin. Ayan. Okay. So mamaya na po ulit tayo mag-shout out. Yan. So, let us all pray muna po. Hingi tayo ng blessing kay Lord God. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord God, we thank you for this day, for letting us enjoy your kindness and blessings. We also would like to ask you, Lord, to help and protect us all with the coming of Typhoon Rolly to our country. May you cover us all with your blanket of love and protection, especially those areas who are mostly affected by the typhoon. Save us from all calamities, O Lord God. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Ayan po. So, okay. So here, every time na mag-uumpisa tayo, I'm presenting you a quote for motivation. This time, ito po yung ating quote. Help me read. Sabay-sabay po tayong basahin. Those who keep learning will keep rising in life. According po kay Charlie Munger po yan. Ayan po. Tama, no? Those who keep learning will keep rising in life. Tayo po na patuloy na naghahanap ng kaalaman at hindi pa rin nag-stop sa kung anong meron tayong kaalaman kasi continuous po ang natin, pag-aaral, no, mga kaalaman, no? Kaya pag may mga pagkakataon po, aral, no, para madagdagan ang ating kaalaman. So like this webinar, an opportunity for us to learn. So just all we need is to invest time, no? Ayan, ating free time lang. So I hope lahat comfortable kayo, nag-aalmusal kayo lahat sa inyong mga bahay-bahay at lahat po kayo ay safe. Ingat po tayong lahat. Okay, again, those who keep learning will keep rising in life. Okay, yan. So let me again introduce our speaker. For those who were not able to uh, attend last time, no? Baka hindi niyo pa po kilala ang ating speaker. So let me again introduce our subject matter expert. So our .NET speaker, he is currently working as a lead software developer at McKesson Canada. He is a hands-on team leader to a group of developers that maintain and develop new features to the company's core applications. He also worked for other reputable companies like Accenture. He was initially based in its Philippine Delivery Center and was transferred to the United States for long-term project assignment. Our speaker started his career as a C++ developer and later transitioned to Microsoft technology stack. Along the way, he became a Microsoft certified solution developer. He also has previous experience in developing mobile applications in the iOS platform. The list of major technologies, programming languages that he used are C#, Angular, SQL, Microsoft and Sybase, WPF, .NET Framework / Core, WCF Services, REST Web Services, Dapper Entity Framework, Objective-C, Swift, and more. Ayan po. Hanggang ngayon, medyo nahihirapan pa rin akong basahin. Ang dami pong naka-equip talaga sa skills, programming skills ng ating .NET speaker. Ako, hindi man lang po naka 1/4 dito, no? Kaya, we look up to our speaker. So, let us all welcome our guest speaker, our subject matter expert, Engineer Alejandro P. Isip, lead software developer at McKesson Canada. Right now po, live po siya sa Canada to give his webinar to us, free webinar to us. Yan po ang kaibigan natin na taga Canada ngayon. Ngayon po ay gabi sa kanila, no? Gabi, kaya may time po siya para i-deliver ang kanyang webinar sa atin. Okay, so let me ayan. Sir Isip, you're now on live.
Oh yeah, thanks, Sir Erwin. So yeah, should we start now?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Naka-on na po kayo.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our part 2 of the webinar. So just to recap, I would like to go back to our previous. Sir Erwin, seems like there was some echo in the background. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah, good morning po sa inyo lahat. Good morning, John. Keep safe. And hopefully, sama-sama nating matapos ang course na to, and I hope that you will learn from it. Everyone will enjoy it and learn from it. For now, what I'm going to do is I'll just go back and recap the previous topics that we discussed. Recap, go to them briefly, and then go to our continuation, which is about ADO.NET, Dapper Entity Framework, and probably will touch ASP.NET Core as well. All right, good. So yeah, to start, I'm going to just go back to the few slides that we went the other day. So yeah, I'm just going to this one is the objective, uh, pretty standard. The goal of the podcast is to learn how to develop applications that interact with the database. Within an SQL database. And of course, the general assumption is like audience will have basic understanding of SQL and .NET. But do not worry if you don't. You will definitely we will definitely explain in detail as much as possible what's going on with the code, and then at your own free time you could explore that in depth. Yeah. Feel free to call us, as Sir Erwin said. Feel free to call the attention of this of the speaker and the organizer in the event of any technical difficulties related to this podcast, like you cannot hear us, the screen is too small, and so on. Take note of your questions for now, and we will allocate some time to discuss them at the later part of this webinar. And of course, most importantly, be respectful, no foul languages, pretty standard. And also enjoy. I hope you will learn, and eventually this course will be helpful for you in the future. Great. I just, the topics that we discussed the other day were, we did some introduction about .NET and the tools that we will be using. I'll not go on them again. If you are interested in knowing this again, please go back to the previous webinar. I think it's still available on YouTube, and you could pass forward, and you could control which portion of the recordings you want to watch. This is where we left off. We finished with ODBC and OLEDB. ADO, now we will continue from ADO.NET and so on. So after ADO.NET, we will move on to object-relational mappings, or what we call ORMs, where we will focus on Dapper and Entity Framework. If time permits, we will show some example of .NET Core applications with Entity Framework implementation. And maybe we could do also some sample codes within Visual Studio Code or LinkPad. That's great. And of course, the question and answer portion of our webinar. Sounds good. All right, let's go and go back to the code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open SQL. I'm just going to go back to the database that we created from the previous webinar. From the previous webinar, we created this database, DB webinar, and we created one table, which is the table product. If I'm going to SQL, hopefully you can see you can see now the fonts are bigger and more readable. So we have a table called product, and then I open a new query. So you click this new query, and it will open a new query. Just make sure you selected the right database over here. So I'm using the webinar database, and under webinar database we have this table called product. All right, I'm going to do a select product, just a recap. And under the product, these are the records we inserted in these tables using ODBC and OLEDB. Now we will continue doing manipulating this database and querying this database using ADO.NET, Dapper, and Entity Framework. So this is our current table, and we will create some more tables along the way to show you how to do some relationships with your .NET application. All right, I'm just going to turn off my video, and open my Visual Studio. And within Visual Studio, I'm going to open the previous solution that we created. So if you don't know yet how to create a solution or a project, you feel free to go back to that podcast. So for the purpose of this demonstration or this podcast, I'm just going to open it. All right, it's still opening, and now it's here. So you probably also can see that the fonts are bigger now. I made the fonts bigger, and I hope they are readable on your screen. If you are using a mobile phone, maybe they are still small due to the limitation of the screen, but they should work fine within your computer. Okay, so the last time what we did in this project is like we created ODBC. So on ODBC we created some methods how to create a product, how to create a product with parameters, get the products from the database, how to do search, how to get products using different approach, and delete a product or update a product. So we did that with ODBC, and OLEDB we did some examples, but the idea behind it is also pretty similar to ODBC. So I will not dwell too much into this, as I explained from the previous recording that you just have to modify first the string connection and of course the class that you are going to use. So since these adapters are still being used right now in the industry, but there are fewer usage compared to ADO.NET, Dapper, and Entity Framework. So I will focus on those three since I believe they are more important if you are pursuing a career with .NET or within any other programming language. Sounds good. All right. So now ODBC, the main thing that you need to do with ODBC, as in the previous webinar, is like to get the package. So currently, if we to get the package, you have to right click on your project. So I have this console app demo. I'm going to right click it, and then within this menus, you will find a manage NuGet packages. So for those of you who are not familiar with NuGet packages, it's a way of adding references to your project with the standard libraries that are available within the NuGet website or within the NuGet repository. So if you go to nuget.org, you will see all different kinds of packages that are available for you to download within your application. So if you right click manage NuGet packages, you will be able to see here the list of NuGet packages that are available for you to download, and of course you could search. But before I go install it, I'm just going to do the installed. Under installed, you will see the NuGet packages that you already installed within this project. If you are only using ADO.NET or you are only using ODBC or OLEDB, you don't have to download all of this. But for this demonstration, I'm using all of them. That's why I downloaded all of them. But you are not required to. If you're only using ADO.NET, just use ADO.NET. Okay, so let's go on. Let's move on. I'm going to download the ADO.NET. The name of the NuGet package that we need to program with ADO.NET is Microsoft.data.sql client. Yeah. Here, this one. It's called Microsoft .data.sql client. So right now it has 27 million downloads. So I will go ahead and install it. So once you selected the NuGet package on the right hand side, or maybe if it's down below, there is a install button, and here you will be able to select. You have the option to select which version you want to download. Of course, for our purpose, we want to download the latest and greatest stable version. So I select that. By default, it's pre-selected for you, and click install. And now over here, you will be presented with the dependencies that it needed and will need to install as well. So you just click OK. And then on here, you should and then accept, standard, pretty standard. Then over here, you will see that it was installing it, right? So it successfully installed it, and now I go to install, and I remove my filter. You can see that SQL client is now in here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to close NuGet and save this project. What I'm going to do to manage the code, I will follow the same format of the code that I did within our previous podcast. I'm going to create another class here, but technically you should be able to put your class anywhere, but so that we have cleaner code, I'm going to add another class. Right click on my project, click add another class or new item if you are not comfortable with class. But if you add new item, you will be presented with a list of items that you need to do. So over here, there's a handy selection that you can do. Just add a new class, and I will name my class ADO Net Data Access. And of course, after you added it, it will be here, ADO Net Data Access. I'm going to make my my class public so that I can instantiate it under program.cs. As in previous version, the first thing that we will do is we're going to this time we're going to insert another, we're going to do an insert product again, or add another product. So I'm going to create a new method, public void create new product. Okay, and then the same with the previous ones. The first thing that you will have to do is to define your connection string. But before I proceed, I will just explain briefly what we're going to achieve. So right now, if we go back to our database and you selected it, we have 5 records, right? We have the different records inserted when we did ODBC, and then records when we did OLEDB. Now we're going to add more records here. We're going to add records for so from using the ADO.NET adapter. All right. So the first thing that you will have to do is declare your connection string. Connection string, and I pre-selected it so that I'm just going to explain it for the benefits of those who are not on the first call. The connection string is composed of several properties. The server, this is my SQL server that I'm using. So my SQL server, if you go here, this is it. This is it. If you want to install SQL server, you will have to provide a name of your server. This is the one that I provided, so I'm going to use that. And then the database that you're going to use. If you go back here, this is the server, and this is the database that we're going to use. I'm just going to copy that. So the database, I'm going to replace this with the database that we are using. And then I'll specify trusted connection. So I explained this from the previous meeting. It basically means it will use my Windows credential to log into this SQL database. So there are different ways to authenticate using SQL, but that is not our focus. I touched it briefly. I explained briefly in the previous podcast. Again, now you have your connection string. What you can do is you have to declare your connection. So I'm going to declare my connection class is equal to new. This time we will use SQL connection. Okay. So this is the connection that we're going to use. And this connection, if you have IntelliSense with you, you're going to require a connection string. So this is the connection string that we define. We're going to use that in our connection class, SQL connection class. And now we have declared our connection. So this SQL connection class is a disposable class. So if you're not familiar with disposable, what that means is like this class, after it's no longer used, it can be disposed either explicitly or implicitly. And .NET is providing us a handy using clause wherein it will automatically dispose this class for you. You don't have to worry about anything. So what I did here is I use this using statement so that this SQL connection, after we use it, it will be disposed automatically for us. So yeah, if there's any garbage, anything that it has to clear, it won't memory when it's no longer used. Although there's garbage collection, so this one is very helpful in case there is a what they call it, unmanaged code that this SQL connection class is referencing. Okay. So okay, next thing, what we're going to do is we're going to declare the command class, new command, SQL command. And then this SQL command requires like insert, requires a SQL statement, right? Okay. So I'm going to do my SQL statement. So my SQL statement is something like this: insert into product. And then I'm going to specify the columns that I'm going to insert. Product name. Sorry about that. Product name. Make sure I spell it correctly. Product name and price. I'm just going to make sure. Product name and price, and then the value that I'm going to insert. Values. Okay, so the value that I'm going to insert probably is I'll do orange, and then I'll just put here ado.net so that I know that it was inserted using ado.net. And the price, so I'll just maybe say 6.22. That's the price. So now I want to execute this. I want if you execute it using this SSMS, what it's going to do is it will insert it in this product table. So this one will add another record to this product table. What I want to do is like I want our application to insert it for us. Okay. So you may be wondering, so this has 3 columns, right? But we are only inserting 2 columns, the product name and price. It's because in our definition, for those who have not attended the previous webinar, the definition of product, we design our product table to be automatically generated. It's an identity key. What that means is like every time we insert, it will automatically generate these numbers for us. So we don't have to specify our own ID. SQL will predetermine that for us every time we add a new record to this table. So the SQL is a different topic, but that's kind of the idea of the identity key within SQL. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut and paste this SQL into my code. I just did it here so that it's clear for you what we're trying to achieve. You will be able, you should be able to execute that in this statement, but your users will not be in a real production environment or real application. Your users will not be allowed to do SQL insert directly, right? That's the job of your application, to wrap that functionality for them. All you have to do, of course, in this case, our SQL, we hard-coded this, but as in our previous demonstration, we just inserted them, right? We got them from the user. I will show another demonstration, or maybe it's better if we ask them from the user. We'll just add them. We'll just include them. We'll just ask the user to enter them for us instead of us adding them here. So okay, I will demonstrate that in a few minutes. But for now, let's hard code them, and then we'll insert them. We'll ask the user later. Okay, we'll provide a sample and ask the user later. So now I define my SQL command. The next thing I'm going to do, I will assign a connection to this command. Of course, all you at this point, all you have is an SQL command. It doesn't have, this SQL command doesn't know anything about your database. The information about your database is all stored in this connection, specified by this connection string. So you can do, what you need to do next is SQL command, specify the connection. Connection is equal to this connection. I think you should be able to specify this connection as well in your constructor. So if you go here, see that? You should be able to specify this in your constructor as well. So I'll just comment this out to show you that. So here, you have this SQL. If you put comma here and then specify it there, that's an option as well. So at this point, if this is the code that you have implemented, at this point, your SQL command is equipped with the information that it needs. It has the connection, it has the SQL. All you have to do is move on and continue. So for demonstration, I want it to be clear. So I want the audience to see that I'm assigning a connection. So I'll just use this method of assigning a connection to this SQL command. After that, you have your you now set up everything. You have your command. It has its connection. The next thing you will do is open this connection. Open, call the open method. What it does is like this open method it initiates a connection to this database. It's very similar to like if you connect here in Explorer and then specify like for example Windows authentication or SQA authentication. You will be and then hit connect. It's pretty much analogous to that. So it's opening a connection, initiating a connection to the database, and then the next thing that you will do is you are now ready to execute your command. Command that execute non-query. So this execute non-query is for insert. If your SQL is an insert statement, an update statement, or delete statement, you should be using execute non-query. So what it does is like it returns a number of the rows affected. So for example, in my case, I will get rows affected. So of course here, if we insert this one directly into the database, what it will do is like, I'm just going to show you an example. I'm just going to say test over here. Yes, and then maybe $2.25. I'm going to execute this directly in this. I selected it and I'm hitting F5. And what it will do is it will insert this product for me in the SQL. See that? So I inserted this and it says 1 rows affected. Now if I selected this product back, I have now this one, right? It is the value that I inserted using SQL. What we're doing in the program is we're imitating that. So it will insert. Okay. So yeah. So I think it's ready now. So everything is in place. We are now ready to run our program. Call this one and then see the results. So maybe I'm going to show a console, that right line over here. I'm going to display rows affected. Rows affected. Okay, in the screen, so that it display something in the screen. So now we're ready. We go to program the same convention as these ones. What we're going to do, again, this is just the way I coded them. You can do, if you're the one coding it, you can do whatever you want, but I find it like this is more cleaner code and the code is more managed if we do it that way. So I'm going to declare a DO_net variable, and then I will instantiate the class that I created. So we created this class ADO_net class over here. So what I'm doing here, I'm instantiating that class. And now, this is now the instance of my class. And we have here the method, right? Right now, we only have one method, create product. And then I click that. I press that, and then see that you have now this create product over here. This is the method that we created. So what it does is like it calls this function or this method and execute whatever logic we added here. So basically, our logic is now inserting a new record to the database. Okay, everything is in place now. We are now ready to run the application by either pressing F5 or clicking this run over here. I'm going to run it now. Okay, it's still compiling, reading. All right, it's running. Okay, see that? So this is the display that we did. It says 1 row affected. Looks like our program ran successfully. So yeah, it ran successfully. Now we go back to the SQL. So the previous select statement that we did, we only have 6 records, right? So now in our program, we inserted a new data and an orange, and then the price of 6.22. So what you can do here, if we run this SQL again, we select from the product table again, there should now be 7 rows. Okay, this is the new record that we just inserted. So using our ADO.NET insert method. Okay, so successful. So yeah, that's one way of inserting it, inserting records. So using plain SQL. But as I have mentioned in my previous podcast, that in real production environments, for this one, this is a simple SQL, right? The disadvantage of adding your SQL statement within your code is like, if ever you need to change this code, or you need to change this SQL statement, what will happen is like you have to go to the code, of course, change whatever you need to change in the SQL, and then deploy this application back to your production machine. So on large application, if the SQL that you are changing only involves some logic, it's better that the code, the SQL that you have is separated from the code. Okay, that's what I'm going to show you. So how can we do that? So in SQL, we have this thing called stored procedure. So if you go to this webinar database under programmability, we have this stored procedure, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to create a stored procedure, and then call that stored procedure within our function, within our code. So okay, so here we did a plain SQL statement and just did it plainly using within the code. We hard coded our SQL, but now we will use a different approach using stored procedure. This is commonly used in production, or in the industry. So as much as possible, if your SQL can you want to separate your SQL statement from your code, and by the way, one option would be using stored procedure. Okay, so how do we create stored procedure? There are two ways. Of course, using this by using the create procedure function, and then you create your stored procedure using that. Okay. So what I'm going to launch a new query window. I'll demonstrate how to create a stored procedure. You could also do it here, right click, new stored procedure. But for demonstration purposes, I want to just type it. You want to create procedure. I'm going to DBO. For naming convention, I'm just going to name it SP, which stands for stored procedure, insert product, and then followed by ask, and then begin and end. Okay. So between this stored procedure name and this ask keyword, you can declare the parameters of the stored procedure. So in my stored procedure, the goal of my stored procedure is to insert into product table, which has these columns. I'm going to require a product name as an input of this stored procedure, and the data type for this product name, I will make it the same data type as the product table. It's varchar 256, and then another one, the price. I also name it price. You can name it whatever you want. But so that it's more intuitive or more readable, I'm naming it price as well. So price, the data type, same as the table. I'm going to make it numeric 14.2. Okay, in my previous podcast I explained what this means, so feel free to go back to that if you want. And then in the begin state, in between the begin and end, this is where you put your SQL logic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy paste this insert statement. Okay, and paste it here. So we're just going to change a few lines within our SQL statement. Okay, so what we're going to change here is the values. So they are hard-coded right now. What we want to do, for the product name, we want to insert whatever the product name that was specified, that was supplied to this stored procedure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy-paste that and replace it, put it here, product name. So product name, the product name that was supplied. And for the price, I'm going to get that too. For the price column, I'm going to put it here as well. Okay, so insert into product and then whatever supplied. So now our stored procedure is ready. I'm just going to press F5 or press this execute so that this stored procedure is created. Okay, now successfully, you can see the stored procedure is successfully created. I can now close this. By the way, you only create the stored procedure once. Once it's created, you could alter it. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, so I'm going back to this programmability stored procedure. Since we created the stored procedure, if we refresh this, right click, refresh, you can now see your stored procedure over here. So now if you want to alter this stored procedure, right click on it and hit modify, or you could just specify the alter keyword. As you can see, SQL automatically generated the command for you. So here, if you want to say, if you want to modify something, like I want to, every time you specify a price, I want to add more logic to my SQL. You could do that. Okay, but let's demonstrate first that it's working before we go into that and show the difference between hard-coded values versus not. And hopefully you will get the advantage and disadvantage of that. Okay, I will just copy paste it, this code, and then modify it. Okay. And I will name it create new product using proc. Short for stored procedure using proc. Okay. The convention is pretty much similar, except that in the SQL command, we will now replace this. We will now replace this with the name of our stored procedure. If you can see here, this is the insert, right? Now our stored procedure is like this one. We will now replace this with that. Okay, so very similar code. We just replace the this SQL by the name of the stored procedure. And there's one more thing that we need to do. Now, by default, this SQL command is expecting that you are executing a T-SQL, transact SQL. It doesn't know that your intention is to run a stored procedure. So you have to tell the command class that you want to execute a stored procedure. You can do that by first adding a line command that SQL, wait, query, let's see, see this command text. This is the command text wherein this product will be placed, or the select statement will be placed. So now, as I mentioned, what we want to do is we want to tell this SQL command that we are executing a stored procedure. So that means we want to specify the command type. So the command type, if you press equal system.datatype.command type, and see that you have several options. You have text. By default, it's text, which is this text commands, T-SQL or T-SQL. Stored procedure is what we want. Table direct is a different one. It's not commonly used, but it's directly manipulating the table. So for our purpose, we want to tell the command that we want to execute a stored procedure. Okay. Oh. And then if you go back to our stored procedure, if you can remember, it has two parameters, right? Product name and price. What we want to do is like we want to add those also. We want to add those parameters to the command. So, but first, where do we get those parameters? This is what I was telling you a while ago, that we should get them from the user. So maybe I'm going to add here another logic so that we will get them from the user. For simplicity, I'm just going to write the console.writeLine, enter product name. Then I'm going to read that product, var product name, and assign it to a variable called product name, console.readLine. Okay, I will read whatever the user will type and put that in the product name variable. And then I will write again, console.writeLine, enter price. Same as what we did in the previous demo. We will add price. And then I will wait for the user to enter the price. I will say price string would be console.readLine. By default, readLine is returning a string, so I assign a price string. But I want to convert that string into a decimal. So I'm going to declare another price variable here. So convert that to decimal. Yeah. Okay, to decimal, and I'm going to add that here. Okay. So all is in place. This code is basically just accepting inputs from the user, and we will use this input, product name, and the price to supply it to our command. Okay. So now we have the command type. What we want to do is add parameter. Okay. Add parameter. Okay, I think it has. Let's see. Nope. Parameters point add. Okay, let me declare a command parameter. Var param product name, and then new SQL parameter. Okay, the SQL parameter, it accepts a name of the parameter. So the name that we specified in the store procedure, which is product name. I'm just going to type that, product name, and the value of this parameter. So in our case, whatever was input by the user, which is this product name, I'll put that there. So there you go. Now you have it declared. What you will do is like you will hit to the command point parameters point add. I will add it. I will add the SQL parameter that we just created. There you go. And then we created now the product name. We'll do the same with the price. So I'm just going to copy paste this and then just rename them. I'm just going to name it price, and then I will name this price as well. Of course, we have to change the value. We will use whatever we have inputted here, price, and we'll do the same. We will add it. We'll add the price to the parameters. Okay. So at this point, what we did, we took some information from the user, and then we passed that to our SQL command. And then this SQL command will execute this stored procedure, which is defined in our database. So everything is in place, and it will execute non-query since we know our stored procedure is executing non-query. Okay. I'll show you the advantage of doing this in a few minutes. Okay, but first let's try and run this program. Okay, so I'm just going to reuse this, comment this out. ADO net that create new product using stored procedure. Okay, good. Everything is in place. Let's run it. Okay, so now I'm entering the product name. I'm just going to think of a product and enter it here. Maybe I'll say papaya. Okay. Yeah, from ADO net. Or I'm just going that, and then I press enter. And then I'll enter the price. Let's say I'll say $7.25. And once I press enter, here our code will execute this command and run it to our database. So now I'm pressing enter. See that? Rows affected. So good. There you go. So we will now go here, and we should see, once we execute this, we should see the new rows that was inserted using stored procedure. So there you go. Okay. Papaya, ADONet, stored procedure. Okay. Why do we, which one is better? Okay. Personally, I prefer the stored procedure. It's better, as I was mentioning above, because if we want to change the logic of our SQL, let's say, for example, in our case, we accepted a price from the user, right? What I want to do in my SQL, I want to always double the price that was entered from the user. So if you are using you have your T-SQL hard coded within your code, what in order to achieve that goal is that you have to modify your code. That it to be, or to your application server, or to the machines where it needs to be deployed. When in real world scenario, that costs more, right? That costs more. That will require more effort. There is while if you are using a stored procedure, one option to achieve that is just, you don't have to redeploy your app. You just need to go to the database and modify this stored procedure. So let's say, for example, I'm going to modify this. What I'm going to do, for every price that was given by the user, I want to double that price. So maybe more profit, right? So I'm going to add more logic in here. I'm going to declare a new variable called more price. And I'm going to make it numeric as well. Numeric 14.2. What I'm going to do, I'm going to assign a value to this more price. More price equal, I'm going to do a set here. More price. The price that was taken from the user, I will double it. I will multiply it by 2. Okay. So now I'm just going to put some quotes here, and quotes there. Of course, this is now the new price that was doubled. That is the one that I insert to the database. I want to double check it again. Okay, I committed that. I altered it and press F5 a while ago. Alter and execute, so that it's that your changes will be applied to your the SQL, to your SQL database. Now let's run it again. Let's run the program again and see. But before that, I want to query my database first. So see that you have ADO.net. Okay, $25. This is the last record that we inserted. I will run it again. Okay, enter product name. I'm thinking of a new product. Maybe I'm just going to name expensive product, or let's make it realistic. I'll name it fish, ADO.net, and then I press using proc. Press enter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a price of 2.5. So as you can see, I entered 2.5 here, right? But I'm expecting that this product will be doubled when I execute my stored procedure. I'm pressing enter now so that the code will proceed. See that? 1 row is affected. Okay, that means it's executed. Okay, let's go back to our database. So as you can see, with our stored procedure over here, it should double the price, right? That's what we're expecting. So we should now see here the product that we just entered plus the 250. We entered 250. We should now see $5. Okay, I'm running the SQL now. Voila! Yay! $5. Okay, that's that's the idea of stored procedure. So it's more, you don't have to modify code. It save time, it save money in terms of effort, development effort. Okay, for your company. Okay, that's what I want to do. That's how you insert a record using ADO.NET. Let's try updating a record. It's the same. It's the same as this one. You use SQL non-query. So if you want to explore that further, just go back to ODBC. We have some examples here string as well with the code that we copy pasted. You want to change the connection string, okay, and then do the same. You want to do SQL connection again here. You just replace ODBC with SQL command. You just replace those, and then everything is the same. And if you have parameters here, you have to supply them. For us, I'm just going to hard code it. Okay, so let's delete this this price. This is expensive, right? Let's just delete it. I'm just going to hard code it, but technically you could get this from the user. So we will delete any product ID of the product ID of 11. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. So what we did, same as above, we declare the connection string, the SQL command, and the connection. Okay, I'm going to run that. I'm going to comment this out. ADO.NET .delete product. I'm going to just run it. Successfully written one record to the database. Perfect. Okay, so now if I execute this product again, I should not see this anymore because I deleted it. There you go. Same as updates. If you go to the ODBC, let's copy paste for the benefit of time. ODBC, we have another example here. If I'm not mistaken, an update statement. There you go. Okay. So let's just copy paste it here. Okay. Of course, I'm going to change the connection string. Let's change this connection string. There you go. I'm going to change this to SQL connection, then SQL. Okay. Well, of course, in this case, either on delete or product, you could also use a stored procedure to do that. But for the benefit of time, I'm just demonstrating using T-SQL. You could do the same format as this one. Specify the command type and then any parameter. In this case, I'm not specifying a parameter, but you could specify this as a parameter in your case, or any update. Okay, I'm sure you're getting the point of that. I'm just trying to save time, and then so we could proceed with the more exciting stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to update another data over here. Let's update this guy. So test. The ID is 8. In my SQL, I'm going to replace this 8. Okay. And then this test, I want to change it to a more meaningful name. I wanna change it. I want to change my SQL here. I want to change the product name to, let's say, Mango. ADO.NET. Okay, I want to do that. So I want to replace this because it's not meaningful, and I want to change it to Mango. Or if you want to change the price as well, you could do comma here. Let's say price. The price right now is 2.25. Let's lessen the price. Let's just make this 1.75. Ooh, 1.75. That's a good grade. If you learn on this podcast, you might also getting a 1.7 grade of 1.75, right? Cool. Okay. Successfully, I'm just going to change this to updated since we are really doing update. Okay, I'm just going to call that product and then comment this out. ADOnet.update product. Okay, I'm just going to run that and run our program, pressing F5 now. Okay, successfully updated one record to the database. That's perfect. If we go to our database, now we should see this as becoming mango, and this price will be 175. Just going to run my SQL. Perfect. ADOnet 1.75. So that's how you do update and delete to using ADOnet. Pretty similar to ODBC. All right, so let's demonstrate. I want to demonstrate using select as well, using pulling data from the database. Right now, so far, what we did using ADOnet is like we are pushing data to our SQL database. We will do the reverse now. We will pull data from our database. So the way you do that, there are two ways, the same as ODBC. You could either use a reader. Where is it? Okay, you could do a reader, or you could do a adapter. So for this one, I'm going to use an adapter, so that because I wanna show you how that works within ADO.net. But before I do that, I forgot to mention something that is really important, guys. So as you can see here, we have this SQL parameter, right? We specified it. And also when we did ODBC, we also specified a parameter over here. Where is that parameter? Let me find those parameters. See that? See this? So in ODBC, we also inserted parameters, two parameters within product, right? But there's a catch in here. So you have to, in order to insert those, you have to properly add them in sequence. If you go back to the video recording, I mentioned that because this SQL is expecting us that this parameter product name should go to the first parameter and the second parameter should go to this second. If you add this first over here and run this program in ODBC, it will fail because this product will now be added, will not be put in place of the product. The price will now be put in place with the product name, and the product name will now be put in place in the price. Since they don't have the same data type, this SQL will fail. So it's very sensitive to that. ODBC is very sensitive to that, but ADO.net it's not. You could reverse them. You could add them in any order. So let's say I want to add the price, the product name after the price. That's perfectly fine with ADO.net. Okay, you could try that. You could try that in your after this exercise, after this podcast. It's a good exercise for you to learn. So try that, and then the product name. The reason for that is because ADO.net is now aware that you are specifying this parameter as a product name within your stored procedure. So even though in your code you change the sequence on the way they were added, it doesn't matter. So it's perfectly fine with ADO.net. Good. That's what I want to say. Okay, let's go back. Let's create another method called pull data from our database. So that I will save time, I'm going to just copy paste from this guy, ADO.net, and let's go and explain it. Okay. I don't want this one. I want the using adapter. I want this one. Okay, as I've said, you could use a reader too, but I want to use adapter because I will demonstrate another thing for you after this. Okay, system.data. I'm just going to make sure it's recognized. I'm just going to change again the connection string standard. Connection string standard. Good. Then of course SQL connection. And then this SQL adapter. Okay, select product. Okay, and then I'm filling the data set. And then I'm filling the product over here. Very, very similar code with ODBC, but with different classes. Okay, so what it will do, it will write it will pull the data from product table. And then see that this is the connection that I was telling you a while ago. You could also specify the connection here or specify it after the command. Okay. Okay, in the adapter I just specified it here, but it's pretty similar to command. Okay, select product. What it will do, it will just pull the data you are seeing on this screen right now. So using adapter, I'm just going to do that again. Comment this video net that using adapter. Okay, so everything is in place. Let's just go to our code and explain it for the benefit of those people who were not on the first recording. Okay, so yeah, standard connection string. We define our connection string, and then we instantiated our SQL connection and supplied the connection string, the server information, and the database information. And then we define a data set. A data set is a standard data type that holds the result of SQL adapter. So and then we define SQL adapter together with this SQL, and then the connection which we just declared over here. Again, you could use also stored procedure here, but you have to specify the command type. You have to specify the command type of this. Sorry, you don't specify it here. You actually specify it in the constructor. Okay, see that? Select command. You have to declare a select statement, a command, and then specify it in the command. So just like this, I'm going to demonstrate it to you. Okay. Like this one. I'm going to copy paste that and put it in our SQL. Okay. So assume I declared a command over here, and I'll change the declaration of our adapter over here. Okay, so instead of this one, I'm going to use this command in the constructor. So I know this command is a stored procedure command. I know this is a stored procedure. Okay, then I'm going to remove this. See that? So this way you are running a stored procedure instead of a T-SQL. So again, I leave it up to you to try that. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use select. So it's a good learning for you. You will be able to have a full grasp if you do this. Okay. So for the benefit of time, I want to go to Dapper. I wanna do this. It's pretty simple, pretty standard. You have a guide here, so I'm sure you will be able to do that. You have a guide over here. Okay. I think now I'm just using T-SQL, which is hard-coded. This adapter, what it do once you call fill, it will execute this SQL statement and put the results into the data set. It will just put it, and then under tables, those tables, it will populate the information for you into the tables. And then in the table, so if you go here, the table will now contain this information. So you execute select asterisk from product, select asterisk from product. It's pretty similar to executing it within this SSMS, and then it will be pulled to you, pulled on and assigned to this data table, that we just declared here. Okay, that's how it works, and let's go ahead and run it using adapter, because I want to show you one more thing. Perfect. So now, see that our application is now pulling whatever is in the database. So if you go over here and compare this, see this milk, banana, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it works. That's how you pull data. Another good thing with this approach is like you could specify multiple queries. So let's create another table called customer. Okay, so I'm just going to create another table. I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. Just a second. I'm just going to go ahead. Okay, so last time I showed you how to create a table using T-SQL, right? Let's do it the other way now. Let's do it using GUI, using our interface. So let's see. So now you have this table over here, right? Tables under our database. You have tables. You right-click, new table. What I'm going to do, I'm going to declare another table, okay? Another table. So I'm going to just create a new column, customer ID. I'm going to assign it as integer, and then it's not null. I want to make this customer ID as auto-generated ID. So if you go here, I want to specify identity to it, okay? Yes, identity. And I want to make it as a primary key as well. So if you right-click on it, set as primary key, you will now see that small key icon over there. That means this column is a primary key. If you are not familiar with primary key, that means it's the value should be unique. It cannot have duplicate values. So if you, let's say, for example, in the product table, the primary key is product ID. If you insert another record here with the ID of 2, that's impossible, assuming it's not that your code with error, your SQL will error out. Aside from it's an identity, you cannot insert to it, okay? The customer ID has a first name, and just declare that as varchar maybe 64, and I make sure it's not nullable. And last name varchar 64 as well. I'm just going to do that, and then I'm just going to add email address. I'm going to name that as varchar 64 as well, and it's nullable. And phone number, I'm just now going to name call the data varchar 16, and it's nullable as well. Nullable meaning they are optional. You don't have to insert data to it. Non-nullable, you have to insert data to them. So now I have defined my columns and everything is in place. I'm just going to right-click and save this table. Here you could specify the name of your table. I will name it customer table. Click OK. Now your table is ready. So if you right-click and refresh over here, you should see the new table. So you now have a customer table. So if you run select asterisk from customer. So it has no data, right? So let's display insert some data to it. Insert into customer. First name, last name. I'm just doing it in SQL because I want to show something to you guys about multiple queries. Okay, I don't want to email address, and phone number. Okay, then the values. I'm just going to name it first name Sir Erwin. Let's use Sir Erwin's name, and then last name Guerra, and email address. I don't know, Sir. I don't. Hindi ko kabisado yung email address ni Sir Erwin. Just let's just do utets@gmail.com. And then phone number, let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then let's run the SQL. Oh, invalid column phone number, sorry. I spelled it. Okay, press F5, inserted. Yeah, perfect. We now inserted a new record in the column. So now if we go execute these two SQL, if we hit F5, we now have two result sets, right? We now have phone, we now have product, and we now have customers. Okay, so we now have two. What I want to show you guys is like with SQL adapter, you should be able to do that as well. So here, what you can do here is like you could either use a stored procedure to do this, or this just use T-SQL. What I want to do is like I want to get this again, select customer, and then over here I will do semicolon, and then put my query here. So as you can see, you now have two, right? You now have two queries. One selecting from product and one selecting from customer. Now, the code's still the same, but we just changed the SQL to have two result sets. Now, the way for you to handle that is here. This is the trick. So the data set can handle multiple result sets. So as you can see here, the tables is a collection, and we are only reading the first table into it. So before we added our customer, we only have one table. That's why we are only reading from the first one. So now, since we now have we know that our SQL will now return two result sets, so we can now do the same thing with our customer table. So what we can do here, we can declare another table, another variable called customer table, and then from our data set, we can get that tables, and then we know that our customer table is the second result set, and it's at index 1. So it's always zero-based index. If you go back to your SQL, this is the first 0, this is the second 1, and if you have another SQL statement there, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So you can do as many SQL as you want, okay? But in practice, that's not a good idea, okay? Maybe 2 is fine if these tables are related with each other. Let's say, for example, I want to know the customer, the product that this customer has ordered. Later on within our entity framework, we will show that, okay? So gradually we will progress into that, okay? So yeah, it's very related. If you want to do that, yeah, you could do that. We know table 0, which is the product. I'm just put a comment. This is the product table, which is this SQL. Okay, this is the comment, select product. And then the other one is this customer. Now we can do the same. We can look for each. We can do for each var data row row in customer table. Okay. That rows. Good. We can do the same. We can display the name of the customer. So here the name would be var first name is equal to row, and then the name of the row, which is first name. I'm just going to do toString over here. And then the second one would be, I'm just going to do copy pasting, last name. Oh, I think I made a last name, first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Okay, make sure I did not. So they are all string, email, address. So we to copy paste that again, and then change this to email address, and then change this again to phone number. Let's see the spelling, phone number. I hope I did not have made a typo. I want to do the ID as well so that it's not all string. Customer ID. I'll remove the toString since this is not a string. This is a integer. So I want to do convert that to int32. Int32 is the equivalent integer of equivalent integer data type within your code. So it's I think customer ID. Customer ID. Perfect. Now we will just write that again. Let's do console that write line. Okay. Customer ID, and then first name. We're going to do 3 spaces over here, and then 1 space first name, last name, and then another 3 spaces for email address, and then another 3 spaces for phone number. Good. Perfect. Now everything's in place. Our SQL adapter is now querying multiple records. Okay, that's good. So I think everything's in place. If we didn't have a syntax error, everything should work fine. Let's see. Let's run. Good. See this? First, it pulled the product, and then it pulled the customer information, same as what we have in our SQL analyzer. Oh, sorry, not analyzer, sorry. SQL Management Studio. So the product, and then the customer. So you could do multiple SQL statement using data adapter. Okay, so you could do the same thing with the ODBC. You could do that. Okay, so now let's recap, and before we move on to Dapper, we can insert data using ADO.NET, create product. Of course, if you don't want to hard code it, you could get the product information from the user like we did here. You could insert product using stored procedure, or you could delete a product using T-SQL or stored procedure. Please do that. I highly recommend doing that So for your learning, because I believe the best way to learn is to actually do it. So please do it, and then hopefully you will be familiar with it. Okay, and it will help you in the future. Same thing, product update using adapter, and we pull data using adapter, one record, one result set, and then another result set. Okay, good. Perfect. That's the foundation with ADO.NET. It's very useful. It's very what do you call it? Full functional, rich in functionality. Okay, it's very rich in functionality when it comes to manipulating data or pulling data from the database. Good. That's ADO.NET. And by the way, ADO.NET is actually the one that being used by most ORMs. We will go with Dapper and Entity Framework. Those are actually using ADO.NET if you are using SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, or the equivalent ADO.NET implementation if you are using Oracle. I will show that in a few minutes when we move to those ORMs. Good. Okay, let's now move on to Dapper. Great. Okay. Now, Dapper is an ORM. It's actually developed by the guys from Stack Overflow. If you are familiar with Stack Overflow, you search it online. It's a very popular website for developers where we share problems and we share codes and we share solutions. I highly recommend if you have some coding problems, try to search in Stack Overflow. There are a lot of experts in there, experts' opinion, expert answers that are really applicable to day-to-day problems that you encounter in your coding. Good. Okay, so Dapper, you could search it online. It's an ORM, and it's actually not just specific for .NET. It can be used for other programming languages as well. It can be used for Oracle. Like if you want to connect to an Oracle database, you can use it as well. If you want to use what they call it, MySQL database, you can use it as well. I'm just going to show you the different SQL databases that I've shown you. Yeah, over here, SQL. I'm using SQL Server. If you want to use Oracle database, you want to use MySQL, you want to use SQL Anywhere or SQLite, there's equivalent Dapper. You could use Dapper on those databases as well. They are Dapper fully supports them. Okay, but for our purpose, we're just going to use Microsoft SQL. Again, same thing. Before we can use Dapper, we have to add it as a nugget package. So same thing, right click, add nugget package. Yeah, you don't have to have this as I've mentioned. If you're just using Dapper, you don't have to have this, but since I'm demonstrating them here, that's why they are here. Okay, go to browse, Dapper, search for Dapper. Great. See that? See how popular Dapper is? It has 15 million downloads now. It's an micro ORM. It can use, let's see the description. See this? Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, SQLite, and so on, Firebird. Good. And then we'll install it just like what we did with the other NuGet packages. Okay, Dapper, it's now on its 2.0 version. Good. Awesome. Let's see if it got installed. Yep, it got installed. Let's save our project. This is the package reference within your .NET application. Pretty standard. Good. What I'm going to do, I will do the same over here. I'm going to do another Dapper class over here. Let's see. Let's add another class. Dapper. Let's call it Dapper Data Access. Okay, Dapper Data Access. Pretty much same naming convention as the other adapter, and I'm going to make it public. Okay, Dapper is pretty different than ODBC. It's different than what they call it, than ADO.NET and OLEDB. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate that first before we can use Dapper. What we want to do, I'll demonstrate how to insert data. Okay, so Dapper is it uses concrete classes. Okay, instead of inspecting the raw information that we have here, like for example when we execute a insert into product table, we manually added the product name and the price. Okay, so with Dapper it's very different. With ORMs in general, it's very different. You don't have to deal with those raw information like inspecting the data tables. You don't have to deal with them and inspecting the data row one by one. Okay, so with ORMs it's very different. So I'm going to show you that. First, what we want to do is we want to declare our classes first. So I know we already declare our Dapper Data Access class. I want to declare our what you call quote-unquote models. In this context, I will call them models. So for maintenance purposes or for organization purposes of the code, I'm going to create a new folder over here. New folder. And I'm going to call that folder models. Okay. And in my model, in my database, I'm going to follow the same model. Okay. So I will have a product model. So I will add a model here. New class. I'm going to call that product so that it's the same as the database. So see this models product, I'm going to make that public. And within this product class, I'm going to get the same columns. The columns, I'm going to get them. I will make them the same as this one in our database. So we have this product ID and we have this product name, right? So I will declare them as properties of the product class. Prop, integer, product ID. And then the product name is a string. I'm going to also declare that. Prop, string, product name. Okay. By the way, class, you might be wondering, I'm just typing prop and then it automatically type this for me, right? Because I'm pressing tab. So I'm going to show you that. Let's do it price. I will do the same with price. If you type prop and then press once it's over here, prop, and then press tab, it will automatically create the property for you. So now I have prop and then I'm pressing tab now. Oh, sorry. Prop tab. There you go. And then it will automatically create this for you. Now the data type of my price is decimal. So I'm going to do decimal and then the name of price. So now we have declared our product. Okay. So first thing that we will do is like we will going to insert data to our table using Dapper. Okay. Okay, let's do that. So first, I'm going to declare the method public void create new product. So now it's very different here. So the way we want to do this now, unlike in ADO.NET, when we created the product, we declared the connection, right? And then we declared this. In this one, in Dapper, it's different. You have to declare the connection, but the content is different. So I'm just going to copy paste this ones. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my Dapper class. Then I'm going to do this. SQL connection. I'm just going to click this and use SQL data client. And here, to use Dapper, you have to import it using your using statement. So I'm going to use using Dapper. Okay. So now it's still gray because I haven't really used a class that are inside this namespace. But once I started using this Dapper, it will become black like this. Meaning, if it's gray, Visual Studio is telling you that these namespaces are not being used. But let's not worry about that. So the first thing you will do, maybe not even the first thing, you could just use it there and let IntelliSense correct it for you. But this is required using Dapper. So if you may be wondering the first time there is no IntelliSense, you have to declare Dapper over here. Good. So now, same thing. I declared the connection just like the SQL connection we did a while ago. Similar. No differences at all. And then declare the connection. No difference at all. Now, the thing where it's not the same is the way you insert the product. See this? With ADO.NET or ODBC, we specify the SQL or the stored procedure, right? With Dapper, we don't have to do that. We just, as you can see here, we created the product model. If we declare this properties, this product properly, we will be able to insert to the database without doing this. Okay, let's do that. So first, let's declare a product, var product. Okay, let's name it new product, and then new product. Okay. Then we will assign the values for our product. So let's say our product is what they call them is, let's see, the values for them. I'm just going to do this. The values for them is new product, point product name. I don't want to assign anything to product ID because we don't really want to insert values to it. We just want to assign to product name. Okay. So product name, I wanna say this is a tomato from Dapper. Okay, just identifier. The new product, point price. Okay, so sorry, it's a decimal price. How much is the price of our tomato? Maybe 5.75 per kilo. Now, since this is a decimal, you have to suffix it with M. That's just a standard .NET implementation. Now you have your product, right? Within your product, you have now this product table, product. Okay. So what you can do here in your SQL, you have to grab this SQL statement. You have to grab this SQL statement, same as the one that you did with ADO.NET. I'm just going to declare this as var SQL. Okay, or you could use a stored procedure as well. You could use a stored procedure, or maybe let's do stored procedure. So SQL, the same thing, but let's use the stored procedure that we added here. Where is it? Okay, product. Good. So this is our SQL. Okay. And now what we want to do is we want a connection that, okay, let's see. What we want to do is we want to execute, right? Execute. Okay. So now what this will do is it will execute your SQL, your stored procedure. So as you can see here, it has various parameters, right? It has the command type. So since we are using stored procedure, what we want to do is first specify the stored procedure, which is the SQL, and then specify the parameter, which is the product, and then specify the command type. Command type as that stored procedure. Perfect. Good. So the difference is in here, we added the parameters one by one, right? One by one. Here, we just declared a class, and then we just pass that class, and Dapper will automatically do that for you. So maybe in this example, we just have two, why we have to declare a product. But in real production application, you just don't have two columns in one table. Especially if the table was poorly designed, I have some. I'm not recommending this, but I have seen some tables which contains more than 100 columns. So now imagine if you want to do that, then that will be a lot of parameters that you wanna declare, right? But here, since you can use a concrete class, you could just use that. You could just specify that class. Okay. So now, what we can now do, I think I'm going to do here. I'm just going to insert this product ID. Let's try this first and see how it runs. Okay. I got a feeling we have to modify this. Good. So everything is in place. Connection, and we execute, and it will return an integer and rows affected. Okay. I just want to display this console.writeLine rows affected is equal to rows affected. Okay. Let's do that. Let's run it. Same stuff. I'm just going to create a Dapper. I'm just going to call the Dapper class that we added. I'm going to do Dapper here, new Dapper data access, and then Dapper dot create product. Good. And yeah, what you can do here, you could also get this input from the user and build your product class. But for simplicity, I just did it. Now you could do the same with ADO.NET, where we have to get them from the user. Good. I'm just going to run it now. Okay, that's what I know. Okay, see that? We had an error. Explicitly, what's the error? Let's see. Let's troubleshoot the error. It says procedural function has too many parameters. Okay, yeah, I understand. It has too many parameters because our stored procedure only accepts 2 parameters, but our product has 4 properties. So what that means is we have to modify our stored procedure. So, okay, let's modify this. I wanna do add product here, product ID, so that it properly match within, although we don't use product ID, because since it's part of our class, we just want to declare it, okay? I'm just going to run this and then close. Now, good. Just going to refresh that. Now, if we go back here, see this, we did not specify, right? We did not specify our parameters. Dapper will just know that it will use the data from the product information, okay? Perfect. I run it. It now have 1 rows affected. Okay. Good. So if we now go to our database, if you run it, you should see 1 additional record from Dapper. Perfect. There you go. So that's how you insert. Now, in real world, what you could do here, like you could improve this code a little bit. So let's say, for example, we wanna do is this product is a supplied parameter. Okay. So what we can do here, let's say we wanna declare. I just wanna show some code, but I will not run it. Save product. And then the product is a parameter, right? It's a parameter on the save product. What you can do here, in the save product, I'll make it public. Maybe let's play around it a little bit. In the save product, what you could do is you could inspect this product and then do either update or insert a new product based on the value of the product ID. Okay, let's demonstrate that. By the way, before I proceed, I just want to explain it further. So here you have the stored procedure, but it can be an SQL and a T-SQL that you just insert here. All you have to do is to remove this command type specifying that is stored procedure. In my case, I use a stored procedure, and I'm inserting a new data to it. Okay. So now, what I want to do, I want to use Dapper to just specify the product and then save it. Okay. So from there, we will know that whether we want to update or we want to insert product. Because here, if you have saved product, what does that mean? Either the product already exists on your database or it's a new product. Okay, so what we can do here is write another statement wherein you want to update. Right? So, okay. So here, I copy pasted the same code, but instead I want to update. I want to update product, okay? So here I want to remove this. I want to remove that. I want to create, I will comment this out because I plan to send the code to you guys. And then, okay. And then I will have this product parameter over here. Create new product. I want to insert this product. Then I will make this private so that they are not exposed. I want to make this then private. I will show you why later. So this just hides the implementation. This is the good thing about Dapper, okay? So now, if you go here, it's now an error, right? Because if you do Dapper, it only have one method, which is save product, okay? And then it requires another parameter. Let's go back. Now, in the save parameter, let's complete this statement first, okay? Let's do product, and then let's do product over here. So now I want to change the stored procedure. I want to do it update product, okay? Good. And then I want to change this message to one product updated, okay? Then I want to change this message one product added, okay? Good. So now these two methods are no longer exposed publicly, and we hide their implementation. So what is we're now doing is like we want to accept a product from this method, and then either insert or update. Now this is now our main method. So this main method, what we can do here is like save product. If product ID is less or equal to 0, we want to insert the product, because meaning this is a brand new product, there is no ID, we just want to insert it. Okay, so we want to call create product and then supply this product variable. Else, we want to do is we want to update the information for that product, and then supply the product. Okay, good. Perfect. Now, what we want to do is first, we now have the stored procedure over here, right? But here we don't have the stored procedure yet. So what we want to do is create that stored procedure as well. I'm going to create it based from here. If I right click, script, create, new query window, I just want to change the name over here to product, and I want to remove this, okay? And by the way, instead of insert, what I want to do is I want to update. I want to do an update. Update product, set product name equal to product name. There you go, product name, comma, price. I'm just going to indent them so that they are more readable. Was price. Now, with this update stored procedure, we will use the ID, because if you just specify like this, it will update everything in your table. So we will specify a where clause where product ID is product ID. So basic SQL. Okay, now our stored procedure is ready. I'm just going to run that, and it's created. Now we have two stored procedures over here. If we refresh this, we now have an insert and update. I just want to modify this update because we added some more stuff over here. I want to remove that and make it a simple insert. Okay, good, awesome. So we now have, I think everything is now in place when it comes to our Dapper class. So what we did is we want to hide, we have hidden the implementation of this, and we want to make a pure concrete implementation of save product. So here, what we want to do in our main program, I'm just going to create another step over here that will insert that will accept something from the user. So maybe our program will say console.writeLine what they want to do. Press select type 1 for to add new product, and then type 2 to update product. Okay, I want to do that, and then I wanna do the selection over here. So I would like to do var selection is equal to console point readline. Okay, readline. If selection is 1 equal to 1, just add a new product. Okay. If selection is 2, just update an existing product. So here, let's code them one by one. So I want to declare my product over here, var product is equal to product. I'll just set it to null for now. Over here, or maybe I'll just new it. Product, okay? Good. So now over here, I'm going to say here enter product name. So select console. Okay, let's insert first. Let's do the insert logic first. Over here, I want to say, since you are inserting a new record, you just need two, right? You just need the product name and the price. So I want to do console.write. I want to copy from ADO.net. I just want to copy this. Okay. I just want to copy this and put them there. So what you want to do here, after they enter the product name, I want to do is I want to assign them to product. So here, I want to do product dot product name. So I just read line. And then the price, I want to do product dot price. Okay. Equal to convert from decimal. Good. So I've inserted that. Now for update, it's a little bit different. They either need to search for product based on certain criteria, but for simplicity, I'm just going to ask which product they want to update. Okay, I'm just going to ask the product ID which they want to update. If you want to go fancy, you could do that, but for demonstration purposes, I just want to ask for the product ID to update. Enter product ID to update, and then the product ID string is equal to console point readline. Okay, product ID. So now in my product, what I want to do, I want to assign that to my product ID. When product ID is equal to convert 0.2 in 32. This guy. Good. And I want to do this console.writeLine product ID. Okay. So now what you can do here, you did the same thing. Yeah, they entered the product name and then you just assign the values. So now what here, this is not really doing anything with the database yet. You are just collecting information from the user. So our application is a console application. That's why we're doing this program. But if you are creating a ASP.NET application, of course, these are being entered within the form, right? So now I hope we could say that. We could show it now, but later on we will do that. Now, you now created the product table. All you have to do now in Dapper is like point save product, and you wanna do supply the product. What this method will do is if it sees that the product ID is less than 0, that means the intention of the user is to create a new product. Otherwise, it will just update the product information. So let's demonstrate that in action. If I coded it properly, it should work. Let's see. And if not, we'll fix it. Okay, so now let's do an insert first. So I want to press 1 over here. Press 1 and enter. Enter product name. I want to name it what fruit. Let's say papaya from Dapper. Okay, enter. And I want to just name it $9.25. Enter. Yep, 1 product added. Perfect. Let's see. Let's see if it got added from the into the database. Good. Press F5. Yep, product from Dapper. Now what I want to do, I want to update this this guy, right? I just inserted it, but I made a mistake. Maybe the price or the name is wrong. I wanna change them using the same program. So since our program already supports that updating, all we have to do is we wanna run this program and it will call this. And in our application, we wanna select 2 here, right? 2, and then enter product ID. The product ID is 13. Of course, if you want to be fancy, you could do some kind of searching. 13. Enter product name. I will change the name from papaya to, do you have a guyabano over here? No, we don't have guyabano. I will change it to guyabano. Guyabano. I hope I spelled it right. Sorry if not. From Dapper. Okay, I'll press enter. I want to modify the price as well. So it's $9.25 right now. I want to make it a little bit pricey. I want to make it 12.50 cents. Good. Press enter. So after this, I press enter. This information should be changed to Dapper. To Guyabano, Dapper. And then this price will now become $12.50. I'll press enter now. Okay, perfect. 1 product updated. And if I refresh this by pressing F5, there you go. So first we inserted and then we updated the values. So that's how you do it in Dapper. So now again, we want to demonstrate how to pull data from Dapper. There are various ways to pull data from Dapper. So we have query first, query single, and those kind of stuff. Okay, I wanna just copy paste this. Okay, I wanna copy paste this. I wanna get all products from get all products. Okay, so I wanna just do an SQL with no parameter. Select asterisk from product, and then I want to remove that and the command type as well. Since I'm just doing pure SQL, or to make it simple, I'm just going to copy paste that and do this. So what I want to do here, sorry, this is not the one that you need. Okay, I'll just step back a little bit and explain the code. So same thing, declare the connection string and then supply the connection standard. And then over here to our products, what you want to do is to, instead of using execute, you are now pulling from the database. Execute is pushing something in the database, but now you are pulling. So you now do the query, and then you specify product. So this is the advantage of this. In terms of pulling data, this is Dapper has better advantage compared to ADO.NET in terms of readability of the code. Okay, so I'll show you in a bit. So now query, I'm just going to specify my SQL statement, which is product. And now what this returns is a list or a collection of products. Take note of that. It's now declared with S, products. So if you IntelliSense, it's now an enumerable product or a list of product. So if you remember over here, when we get all products, we iterated to the price, to the raw data one by one, right? We have to specify this, we have to specify that. The nice thing about Dapper is now we have the product model and we just select it. All of this information that you are seeing on the screen will now be placed into the product, into a list of product. You don't have to code for them one by one, which is better, right? A while ago when we did update, when we did create, it's kind of still specifying the product, we're still assigning, right? But when you are pulling data from SQL, it's a lot more convenient compared to other stuff. So now we have a list of product. All we want to do is for each product in products, you want to just display them. Okay, see? All you do is work with this concrete class. So now I want to console.writeLine product ID. Okay. I wanna do that product ID. In spaces. Okay. Product name, and then $, price. See how simple is it with the Dapper when pulling data? All you have to do is this line. You don't have to worry about what column, what anything, as long as the properties are the same, you're good, right? Product ID, product name, they are the same in the database, you are good. So this is very handy, right? Good. So let's comment this out. I'm just going to comment this out. Okay, so now instead of calling save, I'm going to Dapper point. Why is that? Sorry, it's declared as private. I want to declare it as public. Get all products and run. Ooh, yeah, awesome. See that? It's with Dapper, it made things simple compared to ODBC, compared to OLEDB and ODBC adapters. Okay, so pulling data is handy, and the good thing is like you're working with concrete classes. All right. Another thing, yeah, you could. This is one way to query. You could also do query single, query. Okay, let's demonstrate query single or query first. Let's demonstrate query first. Okay, so get first product. Okay, what we will do instead of query, it will return everything, right? Or it will return everything that is returned by your SQL. So with some other commands like query first, query first or query like that, it only return one row. See that? It only return one product. Okay, let's just, it only return the first product from your query. Okay, see that? Select product, query first. So we know that this query is returning multiple, but if we are query first, it will just return the first one. Okay, so let's run it and see what happens. First product, run it. All right, so see that it just returned the first SQ, the first row, right? Because that was the first one that was returned. So if I want to change my query to order by ID, that's product ID. See what happens. So a while ago it returns milk. Now I change that. See what will it return? It will still return milk. Why is that? Because I didn't specify the direction of my search. Ordering. So I've specified desk. It returns milk. Now it returns the last because I ordered my query differently. So it's still different. What this means is like it will return the first row that was returned by your query. It will pick the first row that was returned by your query. That's how first works. So there are other methods here, but I think like point first, all right, single, query single or query, something like that. They are self-explanatory. I leave it up to you to learn them. The command is the same, but the behavior is different. With query single, if you go to the documentation of Dapper, you will be able to easily figure that out. So query single means it's expecting that this SQL will only return one. If it doesn't, then it will fail. Let's run it. See? Because my query returns multiple, this query single strictly expect that your SQL will only return one row. If it doesn't return one row, it will throw an exception. That's why. Okay, so let's make it return one row. Let's either we could either do top one like this, or we could specify a condition where product ID is equal to maybe 9. Let's return 9. Okay, let's run it. Good. See, query single is more strict than first. Okay, first is like it will just get whatever is the first and so on. So there's also a query first or default, query single or default, but I leave it up to you to explore that. What I want to show you is similar to what I have shown with what you call it, with ADO.NET, wherein we selected a what they call it. We selected with using multiple queries, right? What I want to do, let's see. Okay, let's insert. Okay, let's insert multiple products, okay? Okay, so I want to do, okay, let's query multiple products first. Or let's do multiple statement, just like what we did with data access, and then I'll show you how to insert multiple as well with later on. Okay, what we did in the ADO.NET example is like we did 2 tables, right? like this one, like this one. We could do the same thing with Dapper, but with different approach. So select get product and customer. What I wanna do, I wanna declare the same thing. Okay, over here. Okay. Okay, so first I want to make sure I have the customer. I have the product now, but I don't have the customer model. I want to add another class called customer. Okay. So now you have customer, you have public class customer. What? Let's see. Let's see the customer. What are the different data type for this customer? Let's column customer. Okay, customer ID. Let's add that to our customer class. I want to do plug in customer ID. I want to add the first name as well. Just going to type quickly. I want to add the last name as well, which is a string. Okay. I want to add the email address as well. Email address, I want to do phone number as well. Good. Okay. So we now have two classes, products and customer. I want to show the same thing the way we did over here. Okay. So with Dapper, you have this thing called query multiple. Okay. Let's demonstrate that. So the same thing. Okay, query multiple. I'm going to use another using statement. I'm just going to name it reader. It's equal to connection point query multiple. Okay. So our query multiple will take an SQL, and if there's a parameter, we will supply the parameter as well. Okay, but in our case, okay, let's supply the parameters. Let's see. Maybe let's. I'll demonstrate how to supply more parameters later. For simplicity, let's just do the same query as this one, customer. Okay, I'm just going to do the same query. So now, as you can see, it's a very similar structure, but I'm using query multiple. In ADO.NET version, we have to do more codes, right? But here, no. So all we have to do here is now I know my first query is product and my second is customer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do here customer. I'm just going to do customer. Sorry, not customer. I'm just going to do product. And under my reader, what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute product.read. Read, and then I'm going to specify the product class. Read. By default, it will return a list. But now, what I want to do, I just want to get the first and display it. I'm just going to do first because I know there's record. And then I want to do another customer. I want to do another reader that read customer. Then I want to do that first as well. And I want to display that customer. So I want to display the product first. Let's display the product. Good. Product. And then let's display the customer. Okay. So here I want to display the customer. Okay. The customer is customer point ID. Customer ID. Okay. Customer point first name. Customer point last name. Customer point email address. Customer point phone number. Okay, I'm just going to, this is just displaying the records. Of course, in real application, they are displayed by a GUI, right? GUI. Okay, Dapper point customer. Okay, there you go. So now I'm going to run it, and it will execute this one. Okay, let's run it. All right, so it will it took the first record for each of the data set that we just added. So now the product and then the records in the customer table. So if you want to display all, let's remove this first, and then let's name it products, and do the same thing like this one. Do for loop var product in products. Same thing for customers. Remove this first, and then name these customers. And then for each, we know we only have one record for customer in the database, so that's expected. But if there are multiple records, it will display them all. Okay, let's try them. Good. So for each record, so see how simple is it compared to ADO.NET, wherein you have to get the table first, get the row for its table, and assemble it. So that implementation was done by Dapper for you. You don't have to worry about that. So now we are expecting to display everything from the database. See, wow, awesome, good. Display all the records in the database. Good, that is Dapper. I want to proceed with Entity Framework, but I think it's 11:44 now, so I'm just going to stop there and maybe entertain some questions, and we'll see how we want to proceed. So Dapper, supposed to be we're about to discuss Entity Framework as well. Sorry. So looks like we only finished ADO.NET, and now we finished Dapper, but Entity Framework is another huge topic which we won't finish. So we still have ASP.NET Core. So I'm just going to stop with Dapper, and we'll see how we want to handle Entity Framework. Okay, so Mr. Erwin will plan for that, and we'll see what we want to do. So for now, I will pause and stop, and we'll go to our question and answer portion. All right. Yeah, sorry, it took a while also, so it's I didn't realize it needs more time as well with Dapper and this ADO.NET. Sir Erwin, I think it's that's how we proceed. We don't have more time. We just have to proceed with our usual question and answer. Yeah. I will keep my screen shared, Sir Erwin. I-ano ko na lang. Yung screen ko, I will keep sharing it just in case I need to share it. If the question needs screen sharing, I'm just going to keep it shared so that they can see what I'm doing. while I'm answering the question.
Okay, guys, we're done here, and we're going to move to our Q&A. So we were not able again to finish until the entity framework because of the time, but still we had a good topic, uh, two topics that we're finished, the Ado.net and Dapper. So we're now going to entertain questions. Okay, so let me present. Okay. So Q&A, guys, kindly place your questions in our chat box so that we or our guest speaker or the subject matter expert will answer all your questions. Okay, so just place your question in our chat box. Is there any questions from our audience? Yan, may question na po tayo, Sir Andy. Coming from Ariel Santos. Ay, I have no question pala. It was very well explained already. Okay, yon po ang ang comment sa inyo, Sir Andy, ni Sir Ariel Santos. Very clear
Yeah,
daw po ang explanation. Okay.
glad to hear that. Salamat.
Any comments, questions, or your mga comments? Kindly place that here so that we could address that while we are in our Q&A. Make your clarification. Anyone? From Cavite State University. How about from Cavite State University? Do you have questions to our subject matter expert, or from San Beda, Alabang, or from University of Makati? Ayan. Wala po tayong mga questions. Clear. So we made it clear all your concerns before that, yung nakaraan na naging medyo maliliit yung mga font para sa inyo. We made it clear right now. In-adjust po ng ating speaker para talagang clear na ma-deliver sa inyo ang kanyang yung discussion. I hope even you review and have a replay view of this tutorial webinar ay talaga pong masundan nyo, no? Ayan po yung goal ng ating speaker, kaya po inayos niya, no? Then inadjust ko din tong sa display ng Google Meet natin, no? Okay, I think wala na yatang question, Sir Andy.
Yep.
Okay, guys. Final question doon sa natin, or are we going to move na doon sa natin? We end our Q&A. Clear na ba talaga sa inyo, guys? Mga teachers po natin, if you have some questions, mga professors. Ayan. Magkakasama po tayo dito sa webinar natin. Mga students, professors, lahat po ng webinar natin ay fitted sa lahat ng estudyante man, professors, o kaya mga practitioners. Ayan po. Talaga pong makakaambag at makakapag-deliver ang mga na-invite nating speaker. Okay. Yan daw. Thank you po, sir. Sabi ni Lexen Obrero at ni Jack Boy Mamboyo. Thank you for this webinar. And also from Pergeline Montajes. Thank you daw po. So maybe we are good. There's no more question. Napaka-clear, Sir Andy, ng iyong delivery. The reason why they were not able to think of any question that would be just to ask at this point. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
So, punta na po tayo sa next slide natin. Okay. So, again, we're going to award our speaker for, again, a very good webinar today. And for, again, being generous for giving us our free webinar, the part 2 of our free webinar. Remember po ulit, no? Napakabait po ng ating speaker at libreng-libre po niyang i-share sa inyo ang kanyang kaalaman. Okay? If you just want to consult, pwede po yun, no? Magsabi lang kayo sa, follow nyo lang yung Facebook Eager Learning ko at may channel natin po sa kaibigan natin na nasa Canada. Ayan po. Taga Canada po ang ating speaker ngayon. Doon po sila naka-reside. Live na live po sila. Right now, gabi na po sa kanila. The reason why, siguro magto-12 na po sa kanila. Kaya po, we need to end yung yung webinar, kaya hindi na natin matuloy. Mahaba pa yung isang entity framework, no? Medyo gagabihin na yung ating speaker. Kaya naman po, punta na tayo dito sa ating pag-award ng certificate ulit. Pangalawa pong beses na nagpagpapasalamat po ng Eager Learning. So let me cite this. Eager Learning, Creativity Beyond Borders. This certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Engineer Alejandro P. Isip for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as speaker in the recently conducted webinar entitled Part 2, Database Interaction within a .NET Application, ADO.NET, Dapper Entity Framework, held on November 1, 2020 via YouTube Live, signed by Engineer Erwin E. Guerra, founder. And now, sir, kindly accept our certificate. And thank you so much, Sir Andy. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much.
Thank you din, Sir Erwin.
Ayan. Opo.
Thank you sa mga lahat ng nag-attend. Hopefully, natuto kayo.
Yes, sir. You can address them now if you want to say something to our audience and you want to promote something. It's your time.
Oh, okay. No, wala naman akong ipo-promote. I'm just saying na I'm glad that nakatulong ako sana sa inyo and hopefully magamit yung learning ito in the future and keep on if you haven't subscribed to Eager Learning, subscribe and keep on supporting the webinar that Sir is doing. It's a good initiative, it's totally free. All you have to do is invest your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andy. So once again, I would like to thank you by shouting out your family members. Again, shout out po kay Ma'am May, ang wife po ni Sir Andy Isip. Si Daphne Isip, ang daughter po niya, and also his son, Andre Isip. Shout out po. Ma'am May, Daphne, and Andre. Thank you so much for letting us, your dad, to have this webinar for us. Thank you so much. Yan. So, here, punta na naman tayo dito sa inyong certificate sorry. Lahat ng attendees, sana po na i-comment nyo yung names and school for me to check your attendance during our live webinar and for you to get your certificate. Now, this is the sample certificate that you're going to get. Okay, yan, signed by Sir Engineer Alejandro P. Isip and yours truly. And once you have submitted your output today for this webinar, i-evaluate po natin, i-validate po natin, and isi-send natin sa inyo ang inyong certificate. So just remember po, dun sa mga nagpapasa po ng output, paki-check lang po. So paki-check lang po yung mga submissions natin. Opo, paki-check lang po yung mga submissions. Sana po naka-tugma ang ipapasa nyo kasi pag may correction, ini-email ko naman po, no? I-email ko kayo for the correction. So, ang tanong, Sir, ano bang gagawin ngayon na output? Okay, ano pong gagawin ngayon na output? Okay, so let me just edit this one para maano ko lang, i-put ko lang dyan sa natin. Tatanggalin na natin yung entity Dapper Framework. So dito ends yan. So tanggalin na natin yung entity framework kasi hindi naman natin na take up. So dalawa lang yung hahanapin niyo or gagawin yung output. Ayan. So I think this is good. Okay. Alright, so I'm now going to flash this to your screen. So here, so for those who are waiting for the output, here is our webinar.net part 2 output submission. The same thing, you need to find in the webinar video the ado.net and Dapper installation and application and take screenshots. Paste it in Microsoft Word and make a short explanation about the images you've captured. Okay, and again, explain ko lang, ika-capture nyo po yung ado.net. Paano ba in-install ni Sir Isip yung ado.net? Okay, at paano niya po ginamit yung ado.net? So, just take screenshots of that. And also, the same way with Dapper. Paano po in-install ni Sir Andy yung Dapper at paano nyo po in-apply sa kanyang program. So that will make your output clear that from eager learning na may make sure po namin na naintindihan at talaga pong nasundan, nakapaghatid po kami ng kaalaman sa inyo sa pamamagitan ng pag-submit nyo ng tamang output. And this is the right way for us to check, to validate na natuto po kayo, no? Ayan, pagko-code at saka ini-install pala po yan, ano? So, screenshot nyo lang po yan. Okay, number 2. So, fill out the webinar output form and attach your doc or .docx file in the link below. Sa document lang po, no? Sa Microsoft Word. So, lahat ng screenshots nyo, i-paste nyo lang sa Microsoft Word at i-explain nyo. And after you're done, ito po yung yung link. So I'm going to paste this link sa chat box natin mamaya. And number 3, wait for 2 weeks for the certificate distribution through your email. So sa email po yung communication ko. Kung may mga reminders po kayo na friend ko kayo sa Messenger, sa email ko po sinesend yung mga certificates natin for me to monitor all the distribution of the email, the certificates. Ayan po. Now I'm going to copy the link for you to start now. And ayan, makapag ano na tayo, no? Makapag umpisa na ng submission. Ayan po. So I'm now sending you sa chat box po, naka-place na doon yung link, yung Google form natin where you can get and download, open for you to start your submission. Okay? So yan po. I hope nakikita po sa chat box. Nasa chat box lang po. Ayan. Okay. So, let us move to ayan. Thank you so much po. Thank you so much for attending this another wonderful and fruitful webinar coming from our subject matter expert, Engineer Alejandro Isip. And he promised us again that if the schedule and yung time will permit, magkakaroon po tayo ulit ng another webinar coming from him at medyo mas mataas na talaga yung ano pa, no? May .NET ano na doon, yung parang sa website, ASP.NET. Tsaka ito na yung framework, entity framework. Itutuloy yata po pagka nagkaroon tayo ng time, ano? I hope magtugma ulit ang ating mga schedules. So thank you so much. Thank you. So it's time for us to mention your name during our shout out. Again, Sir Andy, if it's too late dyan na po sa inyo sa Canada, okay na po, you may say goodbye now to our audience.
Okay, Sir Aaron, thank you. I will drop now. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat and keep safe. Alam ko may bagyo dyan and sa pandemic. So, keep safe always and God bless. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sir Andy. Bye-bye and good night sa kanila, no? Ayan po. Okay, bye-bye, Sir Andy. And it's for us now to mention your schools. Ayan, mag-shoutout tayo. Ito na, shoutout time and kulitan time for us. Dito tayo sa taas. Ayun, dito na. Sa mga nag-thank you, no? Okay, wait. Just take screenshots. Ayan. Activate yung isa kong monitor. Okay. Ito from BSIT, Crisaline Galarian, BSIT 4, National Polytechnic College of Science and Technology. So shout out kay Crisaline Galarian, Pergeline Montajes, BSIT 43, Cavite State University, Indang, Ariel Santos, and then Mo Bamba or Trickster John Mendoza, BSIT 4A, Cavite State University, Silang Campus, Indang and Silang, ano. Yan, mga taga Cavite po yan. So keep safe po, malakas ang bagyo sa Manila and bandang yan sa area na yan, Cavite. Signal number 4 na yata po tayo. So keep safe for all of us. Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo, very well explained ang seminar. Thanks to the speaker. Thank you din, Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo. Shout out sa iyo. And si Lexen Dale Obrero. Thank you. Shout out din kay Lexen. Pergeline Montajes, Carl Russell. Thank you, sir. Yun ang sabi niya. Randy Villena. Thank you, sir. Shout out din kay Carl Russell and Randy Villena. Sian Reese Supetran. Shout out. Yan. 1B Updeb yan, si Sian Reese Supetran. Si Kenneth Parianes, Ariel Santos, sabi ni Calvin Gerald Kenneth Litaw. Thank you, sir. Looking forward for the next webinar. Yan, I hope maka-attend po ulit kayo ng mga upcoming webinars natin. Lahat po yan ay free para sa inyo. Wala po kayong babayaran. At libreng-libreng ibibigay ng mga generous invited speakers natin. Then, Marie Jean Mendova. Yan, shout out from 3B UpDev. Si Crescel Joy Muhar, Yanyan Diligencia, ayan, Yanyan Diligencia, John Paul Maturan, Mark Aldous Conde, Tyrone J. Costello, Mariela Dines Chan, David John Ubay, yan, Jedidia Cadmiel Oliveros, shout out sa inyong lahat. Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo, Sir Unil Dungo, thank you so much. Thank you rin sa inyo sa mga NPCST attendees at followers natin ng mga webinars natin sa Eager Learning. Thank you so much, Sir Unil Dungo and Sir J. Zacarias. Yan po yung Dean natin ng NPCST. Okay, thank you so much, Sir J. Zacarias, for allowing your students to attend to our webinar. Also, Jack Mamboboy, Carla Briones, Crescel Joy Muhar, Cesar Jr. Katig. Ayan, shout out sa inyo. Lian May Pedjoro, Ariel Santos, Tyrone J. Costello, Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo, Jared Mulitas, ayan, Kyle David Navarro, Kenneth Baterna, ayan, si Jedidia Cadmiel Oliveros, si Rayleng Paredes, shout out sa inyong lahat. Kyle David Navarro, 2A NetAd, Carl Russell, John Paul Maturan, si Mark Anthony Sibol from Cavite State University, Silang Campus. Ayan, Kyle David Navarro, 2A NetAd, si Martin John Fuentes, 2A NetAd, si Mark Edson Romarate, Carl Russell, Cavite State University, si Syntax Error or si Joyce Ann de la Cruz, BSIT, 3 Mindoro State College of Agriculture and Technology. Yun, thank you Joyce Ann de la Cruz for joining us. Yan po, from Mindoro State College of University. I hope hindi safe kayo dyan at may bagyo, so keep safe and pray so that maging safe tayo lahat. Okay, yan po, keep safe sa mga taga Mindoro. Shout out sa inyong lahat sa Mindoro State College of Agriculture and Technology, yan sa Mindoro. So si Anri Supetran ng 1B UpDev. Okay, Noj Martinez, si Noj Martinez ng 2 AINS ng University of Makati. Ayan. So, asa na yung ano natin? Ayan. Ito, si Melissa Baradas from 3B UpDev. Shout out kay Melissa Baradas. Christine Reniel Sitiar, shout out din sa iyo. Laguna State Polytechnic University, Los Baños Campus. Yan, shout out sa mga taga Laguna State Polytechnic University, Los Baños Campus. From BSIT 4C daw, si Miss Christine Reniel Sitiar. Thank you so much for joining us today sa webinar natin. Again, Mariela Denise Chan, 2A NetAd, Carl Francis Coaching ng BSIT, NPCST. Okay. David John Ubay, sir, pa-shoutout muna. Yan, David John Ubay, yan, na-shoutout ko na yan ha. Okay, Carl Francis Coaching again. Ayan, taga NPCST po. City Janine Mamayo. John Paul Maturan. Kenneth Parianes. Si Jet Christian Paz. Ayan, thank you daw. From UMAC. No? UMAC 1 din, si Jet Christian Paz. Si John Paul Maturan. Si John Carlo O. Mamboboy, BSIT ng LSPU. Laguna State Polytechnic University. Yan, thank you so much. Ang layo na rin na nare-reach ng ating eager learning. Kindly help us to spread the learning brought to you by eager learning, guys. So, spread nyo lang at marami tayong pwedeng ma-share sa mga kapareho ninyong mga estudyante, kapareho namin mga professors. At alam nyo naman na hindi pa natin alam lahat, no? At karamihan ng kaalaman manggagaling yan sa mga possible invited speakers natin. All we have to do is to invest time. Okay, join and listen. Okay, ang kagandahan dito sa webinar, kung hindi naman nasundan, balikan lang ang ating replay. At talagang pwede nyong i-pause, i-play at masundan. That will help you for your thesis, kung mga nagtitesis na at nagpo-program na ng mga ganyan. So, this webinar might really help you. Step-by-step tutorial ang mangyayari niyan, no? Okay. Si Carla Briones, 4-Act Nation, yan from 4-Act na. Carla Briones, ang tawag nila sa section na 4-Act Nation. Syla Tolog, yan. Shout out kay Syla Tolog, kay Carla Briones, and John Paul Maturan. Okay. And Mark Anthony Sibul. So, shout out kay Mark Anthony Sibul ng Cavite State University. Thank you so much sa mga taga Cavite State University. Asa na sila? Okay. Ayan, Syla Bitolog. David Jan Ubay, Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo. Okay, shout out kay Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo ng Cavite State University. Pa-shout out daw kay Giovanni Villamar ng Cavite State University. Giovanni Villamar, shout out daw coming from Ryan Daniel V. Ocampo. Also Mark Angel Mulanida. Okay? Ayan. Giovanni Cruz ng UP Diliman. Okay. Sir, shout out kay Giovanni Cruz. Sikat na sikat po si Giovanni Cruz. Pinapa-shout out nila ng UP Diliman. Okay. Daniel Dave Barbuco. Yan. Cut daw yung playback ng live. Ayan. Shout out kay Daniel Dave Barbuco. Sherin Ramos. From Cavite University, Silang Campus, BSIT 4C. Shout out kay Sherin Ramos. Shilo Eugenio, shout out. John Paul Maturan. Abigail Encinas from NPCST. Sina Sheila Eugenio and John Paul Maturan po ay taga University of Makati. Jaja Gualberto. Ayan. Ronel Paculanan, pa-shoutout po. Team 1 and Row 1 of University of Makati. Yan po, nandito din po si Sir Ronel Paculanan. Shoutout po. Nandito rin yung mga students nyo. Sir Ronel Paculanan from University of Makati. Jonathan Patlin from LSPU, Los Baños, BSIT ng 4C. Shoutout kay Jonathan Patlin. Okay, John Paul Maturan, Jack Boy Mamboyo or John Carlo Mamboyo, si Chen Payas or si Gilcent V. Payas ng BSIT, 4C, LSPU, Los Baños. Mary Shane Cayen Guerra, ito po yung aking bunsong anak, shout out kay Mary Shane Cayen Guerra, love you nak. Also kay Shine Guerra. Shout out sa aking panganay na anak, si Mary Shine Guerra. Ayan, shout out po sa inyong dalawa. Shine Guerra at Mary Shane Cayenne Guerra. Shout out sa aking mga two beautiful and lovely daughters. Princess Ella Dakudag. Ayan, si Princess Ella Dakudag from BSCS Cavite State University main campus. So Indang daw ang main campus. So shout out kay Princess Ella Dakudag. Dani Katongo, Nico Lopez Mundin ng LSPU LB BSIT 4C. Shout out kay Nico Lopez Mundin. Si Leaf Punong Bayan. Ayan. Shout out sa'yo. Chin Payas. And si Luis Kiano Benedict Acosta from Cavite State University main campus. Yan, ito yung mahahabang pangalan, ano? Kapag inilalagay mo sa certificate, halos masakop yung buong page. Yan, pahaba na po kasi ngayon ang pangalan, ano? Yan. So shout out sa iyo Luis Kiano Benedict Acosta from Cavite State University main campus. Dani Katongo, Leaf Punong Bayan, Chen Payas. Ayan, yes, ang mga certificate nyo will be delivered once you complied with our webinar output. So, madali lang ulit ang webinar output. All you have to do is to check yung kanina, ano po ba ang pinapa-output ng Eager Learning. Screenshot lang. So, madali lang po sa inyong hanapin yun. Shout out kay Chen Payas, Mida Damo ng 3B AppDev. Shout out Mida Damo. Chen Payas, Queenie Aranzaso. Ayan, shout out kay Queenie Aranzaso, Carl Russell, Abigail Encinas, and sa last part po, shout out kay Joanne Miranda Guerra. So, ang aking lovely wife and loving wife, I love you, Joanne Miranda Guerra, shout out. Ayan, shout out natin ang aking love for my wife. Ayan, shout out Joanne Miranda Guerra. Ayan. So, I think we're done and let us all be safe today. And I hope, tama po, ang sabi po ng wife ko, let end this webinar with a prayer. Ayan po, magdasal po muna tayo, no? Magdasal lang po tayo at I will lead the prayer again. Yung prayer natin, ito po, at we will end ayan, so let us check. Ito po, may prayer po tayong dadasalin para tayo lahat ay maging safe kahit may bagyo man, ano? Okay? So sabayan niyo po ako para sa ating kaligtasan lahat. Parating man ang bagyo. Okay, sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo, Panginoon, panalangin para sa proteksyon mula sa bagyo. Panginoon, dalangin namin ang iyong proteksyon para sa mga mahal namin at sa aming mga komunidad laban sa kalamidad at sakuna. Ang iyong pangalan ay higit na malakas sa anumang bagyo na dumaan sa aming buhay. Dalangin din namin ang katatagan ng loob at kapayapaan ng damdamin sa gitna ng unos. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. So it is right and good that we end our webinar with a prayer. So, pagabayan po sana tayo ni Lord sa itong bagyong ito. Malakas po to, no? Parang super typhoon. So, sa bahay lang po tayo, keep safe. At kung maaari po, magdasal po kayo. At ang pinakamabisang proteksyon natin ay dasal para po higit sa ating mga proteksyon sa mga bahay-bahay ay talaga magabayan at maprotektahan po tayo ng dasal para sa ating Panginoon. Ayan po. So maybe it's time for us to sign Mag-sign off na po tayo, no? Mga ka-webinar, see you next webinar, and we hope that every time we deliver our webinar, you always have a good thing na take home, yung kaalaman, ano? At muli ay puntahan natin yung ito, ang ating quote for the day. Sabi po dyan ay, those who keep learning will keep rising in life. Yung hindi po nakabasa kanina. So those who keep learning daw will keep rising in life. So every time you take a step, every time you invest time to learn from different books, sites, and webinars, it will keep you rising in life because you keep learning. Yan po yung tagline ng Eager Learning. Keep learning. Yan po. Coming from Sir Andy Isip din po. Yung tagline na yon, no? Keep learning daw. Kaya po siya ganun kagaling, ganun kahusay. Talaga nag-invest siya ng kaalaman at time sa pag-aaral, hindi yung nung panahon natin, nagbubulakbol, puro barkada, inom, no? Siya po ay talagang sa pag-aaral nag-invest ng time. But we can balance all those sa ating buhay. Ayan po. So thank you so much. And it's time to go home now, no? Yan ayon sa kanta. It's time to go home now. Ayan po ang hatid na awit sa inyo ng Eager Learning. Even nasa mga bahay-bahay po tayo. And have a good day. Have a fruitful day. And see you next webinar. Thank you so much sa inyo sa pagsuporta sa Eager Learning. Kung wala pong mga nanonood, no? Kung wala pong kwenta ang webinar natin. Kaya po, palagi ko pong ay nag-i-invite po ako, no? Ini-invite ko po kayo at thank you sa pagdalo, sa pag-invest nyo ng time kasi sayang ang webinar at walang useless ang pag-invite ng speaker kung wala naman kayo. Kayo po yung mahalagang part ng ating webinar. At sa inyo po, idinideliver ng ating magagaling na speakers ang kaalaman. So, transfer of knowledge po. So, later on po, tatanda na din sila. Tatanda na lahat ng magagaling. At sino pong sasalo ng kaalaman? Kayo po, mga kabataan. Yan, kayo po ang sasalo ng kaalaman. I hope, pag kayo ay magagaling na lahat, ibabahagi din nyo yung inyong kaalaman. Huwag nyong iinyuhin. No? Huwag nyong sasarilinin dahil ganyan po ang kaalaman. Pasa-pasa lang kung gusto mong makatulong. Ayan, dyan po. Nag-e-end na ang ating webinar. And Eager Learning is now signing off.